Alright, good morning to those in the Philippines, Vietnam, as well as Laos, Thailand, Cambodia. All those places we are going to be in Vietnam. All these places could be seeing impacts from Kalmaegi, but for the Philippines could also be seeing impacts from this next system, 32W. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are getting closer and closer thanks to all of your support. I will continue to be doing more of these live updates over the coming days as this next system after Kalmaegi threatens the Philippines. We will be discussing both of these systems in around an equal amounts of capacity on both of them. So let's get started on this. I'm currently sharing my stream, and then we'll start. Okay. Facebook's being a little bit finicky on sharing that. Hi, Typhoon Lover. How are you doing today? I know it's a little bit stressful seeing these systems threatening both sides of the Philippines, the northern Philippines and southern Philippines. We'll be discussing both of these systems here, but let's first start off with Kalmaegi. Hi Tara, hi Broly Meng, I see you all in the chat. Now let's get started. Again, if you have any questions, you can always ask them in the live chat and I will gladly answer it. I know I've said this numerous times now, but let's get started, okay? So currently Typhoon Kmagi, this is around 6 hours ago where it was. It is now roughly over here. It is expected to remain a Typhoon Category 1 throughout tomorrow there, or throughout tonight, and it will become a major Category 3 typhoon. Could try to reach Category 4 status. It's a little bit uncertain as to the extent that it will intensify, but it is expected to make landfall as around a Category 2 or 3 strength system in Vietnam. It will then be plowing through central Vietnam as a typhoon before entering into Laos as a tropical storm and then weakening down to a tropical depression. By the time it enters Thailand, it looks like it will be a remnant low. Now, discussing the impacts for the system, there is still a broad area of marginal impacts, which does include the entirety of Mimaropa, does include the western portions of the Negros Island region, nearly the entirety of western Visayas, and again, it does include Mimaropa there, and also portions of Calabarzon, and is that portions of central Luzon? Yeah, just southern portions of southwestern Luzon in that category. Southeastern Hainan Island is also in that marginal category, as well as a majority of Vietnam and southeastern Laos, southeastern Thailand, and northeastern Cambodia, all in that marginal impact category. Now, stepping it up to slight impacts, what areas could see slight impacts? Well, already some areas in Mimaropa are seeing those slight impacts right now, mainly in the form of wind and rain. And again, portions of Vietnam, southeastern Laos, and northeastern Cambodia all could be seeing slight impacts from the system as it rolls through as a potentially major typhoon. Now, stepping it up to moderate impacts, what areas could see moderate impacts? Well, there is going to be a portion here of Mimaropa which could be seeing additional heavy amounts of rain on parts of northern Palawan. There in that moderate category. And it does also include an area where it could be rolling through as a typhoon in portions of eastern Vietnam. Now, looking at the possibility of major impacts, there is going to be a corridor in the coast of Vietnam there, as this could be making landfall as a possible Category 3 major typhoon. It is a little bit uncertain, so that's why it's highlighted as the possibility. We're not expecting major impacts just yet. We're not forecasting that explicitly, but there is a possibility that those areas could be seeing a major typhoon rolling through. Now let's discuss the other storm, the one that's getting all the attention here. This is 32W, which is currently a tropical depression. It is expected to become a tropical storm by tonight, and remain a tropical storm throughout tomorrow night. So let's see, tomorrow night's... I'm just trying to see day of the week right now. For you all, it's Wednesday morning, and this would be Thursday night right over here. By the time we get into Friday morning, we are expecting this to quickly intensify into a high-end Category 1 typhoon, and by Friday night, I believe that is, Friday night over here, a Category 4 major typhoon. And then stepping into, sorry, that's not Friday night. Hold on, let me see. This is Wednesday night. Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday nights. Yes, okay, Friday nights here, and then going into Saturday morning, it is expected to become a Category 5 super typhoon. by the time it enters the Philippine area of responsibility. Fast forwarding to Sunday morning, it is still expected to be a super typhoon, Category 5 intensity at that point, and then going forward even further here, it is expected to slam into the Philippines. This forecast point has it as a Category 3 major typhoon on, I believe, Monday morning for you all in northern, or really the entirety of Luzon. So major impacts are expected, and I do want to reiterate though that this cone is quite large this far out. So 2/3 of the time it will stay inside of this cone, and then there's a 1/3 chance that really it exits this cone. Maybe it goes more to the north, maybe it goes more to the south. So it's quite uncertain this far out, but. Areas such as eastern Visayas, the Bicol region, Mimaropa, as well as southern, central, and northern Luzon all could be seeing a major or a super typhoon plow through your region. So anywhere in this area needs to be watching the system very closely. Now let's discuss the impacts that the system could bring. So starting off with marginal impacts, it does include the island of Yap, I believe that is. Yeah, Yap, Guam, and also portions of the Sekishima Islands and the southern 2/3 of Taiwan. It does include the Batanes Islands and the Western Babuan Islands, I believe. In that marginal category. And it does also include a large portion of the Philippines, so this does include Mindoro, Palawan, Western Visayas, the Negros Island region, Central Visayas, the Northern Mindanao, really the northern portions of Mindanao there, and portions of Eastern Visayas, all in that marginal category. Now, stepping it up to slight impacts, I would be expecting slight impacts for the eastern Babuan Islands, as well as majority of Luzon, and that does also include the Bicol region there in that slight category. Northern Samar is also in that slight category. What areas could be seeing slight impacts from the system? Now, stepping it up to moderate impacts, areas that are expected to see moderate impacts does include the Catanduanes, in the Bicol region, the far northern extents of the Bicol region, Calabarzon as well. Majority, though, of central Luzon and the Ilocos region, as well as portions of the northern Cagayan Valley in that moderate category. And then stepping it up to now, what areas are expected to see major impacts over the next... I should probably change this color to something more readable. Let me do this. Okay, now looking at the areas that are expected to see major impacts. This isn't just a possibility. These areas are expected to see major impacts. This does include areas in Aurora, Cagayan Valley, and the Cordillera Administration region, the CAR there. It does include Cagayan, Apayao, Kalinga Mountain Province, Fuego, Isabela, Nueva Vizcaya, Quirino, and Aurora there in that major impact category. So all these areas here are expected to see major impacts from this storm, as it is expected to roll through as a major typhoon. There may be an area highlighted for the possibility of catastrophic impacts. It's far out though, so this is 5 days away from a landfall. Now, I do want to reiterate impacts now. In terms of if you're in Vietnam and you're awaiting impacts from this system, you could be seeing impacts. You know what, I'll discuss it in the model runs in a bit. But again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as we are nearing where we're getting closer and closer to 4.76 thousand subscribers. We're 5 away from that milestone. Let's see if we can hit that by the end of the stream. Alright, and looking at satellite imagery on the storm, we can see for Kalmaegi, it is trying to get an eye feature together. And we've seen on microwave imagery that the storm does have a solid core, and we will likely see this thing try to rapidly intensify over the next 24 hours or so. So really, it's looking quite healthy as it's entering the South China Sea as the sun rises. This does have a death band right now, but fortunately it's out to sea majority of it. But it is impacting portions of central Palawan, and that's why I've highlighted that area for moderate impacts. Even though they're not getting typhoon force winds, they are going to be getting some heavy rainfall with the system. And looking at infrared imagery, we can see that on here. That's quote-unquote death band impacting areas of Palawan. We can see the eye feature trying to pop out. It's struggling a bit here on infrared imagery. And now looking at 32W and what it's looking like right now, there is a broad circulation, so it's kind of hard to determine, is this actually a tropical cyclone or not? There may be a local maximum of vorticity here underneath all these thunderstorms, and that's where we're placing the tropical cyclone right now. But overall, though, there is a very broad circulation right now, and it looks like the actual center is located on the southwestern portion of it. Looking at infrared imagery, we can see some nice convective burst over the alleged center here, with cloud tops reaching or exceeding minus 80 degrees Celsius on numerous occasions there. A lot of nice burst over where we think the center is. Now, looking at the environment on the system, the sea surface temperatures for Kalmaegi are very warm here, and they are going to be starting to cool down by the time it reaches Vietnam, so that's why we are expecting a slight weakening, marginal weakening maybe, before it makes landfall in Vietnam. Looking at the environmental conditions on the storm, this is not, let me refresh this. Huh. Let's see, this is not working. Let me pull up. Let's see, did this work at least? This, in theory, we should be able to get some of the model data on this storm. Again, though, that's the microwave imagery I was talking about there. Solid core, so we could be seeing rapid intensification as it exits, or as it continues to traverse the South China Sea. Model data here. Let's see if this is up to date. Yes. Okay. Yep, so here's a look at the latest, yes, okay, so shear has been increasing a little bit. It is expected to dip down a little bit as it enters the South China Sea before skyrocketing at landfall there in Vietnam. Then it will gradually decrease as it moves across southeastern Asia. In terms of sea surface temperatures are moderate right now, and they are expected to dip down a little bit, but they're still conducive for intensification. Dry air is not going to be a problem for Kalmaegi. It's going to be quite high there. Not really a problem there. Now, looking at satellite or the model data, excuse me, on 32W, in terms of what it is forecasting system to go through. So as you can see, a lot of these models want the system to become at least a Category 4 typhoon, and some of them are wanting a Category 5. I did want to reiterate, though, that the Google AI Ensemble members, 100% of them want this to become a super typhoon. So this is going to be pretty concerning. Well, we'll go over that in a little bit in the updates. In terms of wind shear, very low for the system to bomb out in intensity, and it just remains low to moderates by the time it starts nearing the Philippines there. So we're hoping that the shear tries to weaken it before landfall. Sea surface temperatures are not going to be a problem up until landfall, and relative humidity may be seeing some dry air near the system by the 5-day range. Let's look at the distances from certain areas where the system is located at. So Kalmaegi, or Tino, is located around, it is leaving Mimaropa there. It's around 70 kilometers away from you there. In terms of Mindoro, it's around 250 kilometers away. In Vietnam, it's now only 1,100 kilometers away from making a landfall. Laos and Cambodia, it's down to 1,300 kilometers away, and Thailand's down to 1,500 kilometers away. Now, looking at our other system here, 32W, how far away it is from certain areas. Let's start off with Yap. Yap is around 400 kilometers away. Let's look at miles now in terms of what's its distance away from Guam. It's around 480 miles away from you in Guam. Now, let's start off by looking at the Philippines, all the different regions of the Philippines. So starting off with Mindanao, it's around 1,700 kilometers away. Palau's 730 kilometers away. In terms of eastern Visayas, it's around 1,800 kilometers away. Same for Tacloban. In terms of the Bicol region, it looks to be around 2,000 kilometers away. From central and southern Luzon, it's around 2,300 kilometers away. And from the Cagayan region of the Cagayan Valley, it's around 2,300 kilometers away, and the Ilocos region's around 2,500 kilometers away. The Babuan Islands are going to be around 2,500 kilometers away, and the Batanes Islands are also around 2,500 kilometers away. Taiwan looks to be around 2,700 kilometers away. So again, it's pretty far away from the Philippines, but the system is going to be speeding up again as it moves, as it starts getting closer and closer to the Philippines. It is going to be accelerating by the time it makes landfall there. And when it enters really the Philippine area of responsibility, it's going to be speeding up here. You can see these points get farther and farther apart, indicating how fast it's moving. Alright, that's distances. Now let's talk impacts for this system in terms of these model runs. This is a look at the HWRF model run on Kalmaegi. Does have it becoming a major typhoon, and it potentially still has it as a major typhoon as it slams into Vietnam there. And looking at, do we have a model run on 32W? Doesn't seem like it. Let's look at the HAFS A model run on Kalmaegi here. Does have it, does initialize properly with a core There does become a major typhoon and slams into Vietnam as a Category 2 or 3, before then it weakens over Thailand. Now, I do want to discuss the timing of impacts for Vietnam with the system. If we look at a zoomed out view here, and the greens are mainly those tropical storm gale force winds, potentially beginning over the next 24 hours or so. So if you are in Vietnam, I'd be completing the pink section of this checklist here. If you haven't already, bring in all loose outdoor objects, as well as board up or reinforce windows and doors that you believe is necessary to do so. So really, because this could be rolling through as a major typhoon, windows, doors could be blown out, so be prepared for that, and then get ready to go through this next stage by tonight. So you want to be sheltered by tonight and keep food and water, or not by tonight, but by tomorrow morning, I believe. Let me just double check on this model run. By tomorrow morning, would it be? Yeah, by tomorrow morning, you want to be sheltered in place, and you want to keep your food, water, and first aid close by. So really, you need to be completing this section of the checklist right now. Okay, now discussing this next system here, 32W, and where it's expected to go. Let's look at the HAFS A model run here. So it does initialize pretty properly, I'd say, and it does have it moving to the northwest, becoming a major typhoon and super typhoon over the next 4 days, slams into the Philippines as a 905 millibar super typhoon, not just a bare minimum Category 5. This central pressure here, by the time it nears Luzon, is very close to that of Haiyan, or Yolanda. So again, this is quite scary for those in the Babuan Islands, and as well as Luzon. This is more on the northern edge, though, northern end of all models, I'd say. So this could happen more to the south, but this is very unfortunate to see, as we've had Regasa plow through the Babuan Islands, and now it looks like another super typhoon could be doing that just less than 2 months after Regasa. Now let's look at a zoomed out view of the system, and in terms of when will impacts be beginning for portions of the Philippines. Looks like over the next 4 days is when impacts could begin for portions of the Philippines, and Taiwan looks like they are in the 5-day range. So if you are in the Philippines, really anywhere in this green highlighted area, and really anywhere, anywhere in this green highlighted area, what I would be doing right now in the checklist is going to be completing the yellow part of the checklist, and maybe parts of the orange. If you're in the Philippines, they're probably the northern half of the Philippines. Check forecast daily, and remember, you all can take a screenshot of this if that will help. If you're already subscribed to the channel, you've already pretty much completed that first one there, checking forecast daily. You all are tuning back in for daily updates on the system, trying to figure out what's happening, any shifts in the forecast, staying in the know. So again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as that helps keep you up to date. Looking at restocking essentials, you'll want to be restocking food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications. Have at least a 9-day supply, as you're going to be needing it potentially for over another 5 days after or another 3 days or so after the system passes. You want to review your evacuation zones and routes. You need to be planning where are you going to go if this does try to roll through your area as a super typhoon. What's the most sturdy structure that you could go to, that you could ride out the storm in? If you're in a low-lying area, what's the highest ground? What's the safest building that you could be going to? So make sure you have that planned out. Where are you going to go? When are you going to go? If it looks like you need to leave, when are you going to be going to? Contact family members. Figure out where they're going to be going as well. If you know someone, if you have family or friends in a high-risk structure, make sure to contact them and try to figure out where they would go if the system is headed towards their area, and if you're told to evacuate. I would begin to start filling out this checklist here, so wash clothes and dishes, get that ready, and back up important documents that you might lose, and clean gutters and storm drains, as this could be a multi-day flood threat. You want to have a head start with that. So again, take a screenshot of this if you haven't already. It helps you be prepared for this system and other systems. I will need to rename that there to Typhoon. Alright, now going over to the other model runs, let's discuss the European run and what it's forecasting there, with the next system becoming a major typhoon as it slams into the Philippines. Looks like it slams into Luzon. The American run wants it as a super typhoon by the time it slams into Luzon there, and then slams into Taiwan as a typhoon. The Canadian run does want the system to become a major typhoon, slam into northern Luzon, and then meander around Taiwan there, just south of, let's see, southeast of Hong Kong. There is just a swirl. Looking at the German run on the system, does have it becoming a super typhoon before making landfall in the Philippines. 908 millibars there on that run. This one has it down to 911 millibars. So super typhoon being expected from the German run as it slams into northern Luzon. It does start turning towards Taiwan at that in around a week or so as a potential typhoon. Let's look at some of the Ensemble members here. We'll look at the supercluster afterwards, but here's a look at the European Ensembles. More likely than not, it's going to be slamming into the Philippines. We're hoping that these Eastern solutions verify and it curves out to sea, but that's looking less and less likely, unfortunately. Let's see here. Does this work? Yes. Okay. Again, the American ensembles, around 2/3 of them or more, 3/4 of them have it slamming into the Philippines. So the chances it misses are looking less and less likely. You can see that on here. Now, the trends here on the European AI model, let's look at the trends that have been happening on the system. So let's look at the currently what it's doing, and then what has it been forecasted to do compared to now. So it's a little bit stronger than what was forecasted over the past few days. So it has been doing a little bit better. And then if we go now 48 hours from now, the trend has been more to the west, more to the southwest here, especially on this most recent model run. Then if we go down to 96 hours out, 4 days from now, we look at those. It has continued to shift more and more to the west here. Here was the earlier runs, and then here's the more recent runs. That ridge to the east is much stronger. Ridge to the northeast is stronger as well. So really just keeping the system moving towards the Philippines, and it gets trapped under that ridge there by Taiwan and the Ryukyu and Sakishima Islands of Japan. So really it's just forced to move westwards. And if we go to landfall here and look at the other ones here, yeah, it's just continued to shift more and more to the southwest there. That ridge there is trending uptrending there for portions of Taiwan and eastern China. Then afterwards, where will the system be going? Well, there's going to be a trough potentially over Russia or Kazakhstan, I believe that could try to be pulling the system towards Taiwan. So that's why you in Taiwan will need to be watching the system over the next week. All right, now let's talk rainfall totals for both of these systems over the next 7 days. Starting off with the Kalmaegi or Tino, let's discuss that system in terms of the rainfall totals, additional rainfall that could fall from it. So portions of Vietnam, it looks like rainfall totals of up to 400 millimeters are possible, and in portions of Cambodia as well, up to 300 or 200 millimeters of rain, and Thailand up to 150 millimeters of rain are being forecasted for you. Looking at the American run and what it's showing, again, it's showing large areas of up to 200 millimeters of rain where the system could make landfall, and that does also include portions of Cambodia and Thailand and Laos, all in that 100 to 200 millimeter range. Looking at the German run here, the German run has the highest amounts of rainfall there, up to 400 millimeters of rain and up to 500 millimeters of rain just offshore. It does have lower totals, though, in Thailand and Cambodia. Now let's discuss, let's discuss the next system after that here for portions of the Philippines here. This is the European run and additional rainfall totals. Portions of, the Ilocos region could see rainfall totals of up to 800 millimeters of rain. In terms of Isabela here in Cagayan Valley, up to 400 to 500 millimeters of rain. The Babuan Islands could be seeing up to 300 millimeters of rain, yes. And Metro Manila gets in at lower rainfall totals on this run, only around 50 millimeters of rain. Taiwan does get some decent rain, up to 300 millimeters of rain in the eastern mountains. Now let's look at Guam's impacts from the system in terms of rain in inches. Looks like rainfall totals of up to 7 inches of rain. 6 to 7 inches of rain are going to be possible for Guam. And now let's look at the American run and what it's showing for these various regions. So Guam, lower totals up to only around 5 inches of rain. Now let's go over to the Philippines here. A little bit of a higher resolution look. Up to 400 millimeters of rain for the Cagayan Valley. Looking at the CAR region, or the CA region, up to around 600 millimeters of rain accumulations there. And the Ilocos region, again, up to 500 millimeters of accumulations there. Metro Manila gets lower totals, only around 70 millimeters of rain, and the Babuan Islands get up to 200 millimeters. Taiwan isn't really affected too much in the 7-day range on this one, at least. Let me extend a little bit out further. Up to 200 millimeters of rain, actually. Yeah, it starts making that northward curve. And again, some areas in the Philippines, up to 600 millimeters of rain could fall from the system. Now, looking at the German run and what it's forecasting, if we go over to Guam, rainfall totals there only seem to be around 5 to 6 inches of rain. Now, going over to portions of the Philippines, northern Luzon, in areas, let's see, this would be Ilocos Sur, I believe, actually. Ilocos Sur. Rainfall totals of up to 700 millimeters of rain are forecasted for you. Looking at, is it Isabela in Cagayan Valley, up to 600 millimeters of rain, and Cagayan there on the northern portions, up to 300 to 400 millimeters of rain. Taiwan's not really highlighted for rain on this model run. Now let's talk wind. How strong will the winds be from the system? See, we'll start off with the European run and what it's forecasting. It's forecasting generally lower winds. I think this is being a little bit conservative. Wind gusts could be as high as 230 kilometers just offshore, with winds peaking out around 200 kilometers an hour, portions of northeastern Cagayan. Alright, the Babuan Islands there could see up to 170 kilometer an hour winds. Portions of the CA region could see up to 150 kilometers an hour. In the Ilocos region as well, up to 150 kilometer an hour wind gusts being forecasted for you. Central Luzon gets lower winds, up to around 100 kilometer an hour winds, and portions of the south get less wind. That's just the European run. Now let's pull up the American run here. Alright, so not as high as what I was expecting it to show. But again, wind gusts of up to 230 kilometer an hour winds just offshore. On land, wind gusts of up to 180 kilometer an hour winds are being forecasted around Isabela and Aurora provinces in the Philippines. Alright. Now, looking at the German run here, this is probably the most accurate in terms of how strong the winds will be. Not particularly in a specific region, but overall winds. What would the maximum wind gust be from the system? Potentially up to 320 kilometer an hour winds are going to be possible just offshore. And as it's slamming into the Philippines, wind gusts of over 260 kilometers an hour are going to be possible. The German run specifically is forecasting those strong winds to be happening in Cagayan and Isabela there, and portions of western Luzon, only around 160 kilometer an hour wind gust. Babuan Islands, again, around 130 to 140 kilometer an hour winds. But yeah, pretty severe there for this one. Over 320 kilometer an hour winds being possible on the German run. See, is the access model out yet? Is it even showing it or no? I don't think it's showing it. Does the access model pick it up, or how does this work? Oh, wait, dang, is it forecasting it to... Interesting. The access model here is forecasting it... Wait, what is the access model for again? I forget which region. Is it Australia? Is it... Yeah, I'm not sure what area is the access model. But if we look at the rain and thunder here, where is it expected to go? Let's pull up here, pressure, that kind of stuff. Where is it expected to be? It rolls through the central Philippines there. So as you can see, this model run. How about let's go through the various model runs and what they're forecasting. So let's start off with the access model. Is this actually local time? No, okay, this is local my time. So looking at tonight here, it is by Guam there, a pretty broad system, at least on the access model. Then going into Thursday morning for you all in the Philippines, it is not really impacting you just yet, and we go towards... let's see, Friday morning, not really reaching you all just yet. Saturday morning, some of those outer bands are nearing the coast there, and looking at Saturday nights, already seeing some impacts happening in portions of eastern Visayas. Then going towards, this would be Sunday morning, you can see some very heavy rainfall impacting the Bicol region, eastern Visayas, and Calabarzon there. and also portions of Mindoro and western Visayas, the Negros Island region, and central Visayas, all seeing some pretty hefty rainfall totals here. Rainfall rates, 50 millimeters of rain in just 3 hours for a lot of those areas. And then going towards Sunday, this would be now Sunday night, you can see rolling through now Luzon. There is a powerful typhoon. And then going towards later after that, it does roll through Metro Manila there on this model run. Looks like overnights Sunday into Monday morning is when it rolls through Metro Manila there. Those heaviest impacts happen then. And then things start to calm down on Monday. Let's look at the European run and what it is showing the system to do. So let's go out in time here. Can I play a loop here? Man, why is this so slow? I'm not quite sure about that. Is there any way to speed it up? I guess not. Okay. But the system does start impacting portions of the Philippines. This would be on Sunday nights, or Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon into Sunday nights, really starting to impact some of the Philippines. The more north it goes, the later the impacts will happen across the Philippines. And it does seem like the strongest impacts there. I mean, man, look at that eye there slamming into the Philippines there. This would be slamming into the Philippines on Monday morning into Monday afternoon. Does then roll through the Philippines there and starts to leave. Man, it moves at a snail's pace there. Moves incredibly slow, dumping very heavy rainfall totals for portions of northern Luzon. And then eventually it starts leaving the area by Tuesday nights. And then as you can see, that upslope there impacts in eastern Taiwan, though. Very heavy rainfall rates there. Fortunately, yeah, look at that there. Very heavy rain for portions of eastern Taiwan. Let's see how high those rain accumulations are. If we go just beyond the 7-day range, how high are they? Man, okay, this is quite high. Areas of up to 800 millimeters of rain to 900 millimeters of rain are being forecasted in eastern Taiwan. That could be a very, very massive, catastrophic impacts would be possible there. Now let's discuss the German run here, what it's showing. Again, I believe this is the worst case, or one of the worst case scenarios for the system. Yeah, rolls right through as a major or super typhoon in portions of the northern Philippines there. Rolls through at around Monday night on this model run. Okay, now here's a look at the latest Joint Typhoon Warning Center cone on this system. Let's see, is there a new one out just yet? Nope, not yet. Okay. Now, I did want to discuss the Google AI Ensemble members on what they're forecasting this next system, 32W, to do. So the Ensemble mean does have it becoming a Category 5. There slams into the Philippines as a Category 3 to 5 strength system. So super typhoon landfall is possible. And then it does eventually make a curve towards Taiwan. Now let's discuss probabilities here. Probabilities of how strong it will be, okay? The minimum Ensemble member, the weakest Ensemble member, has it as a 130 knots Category 4. So that's 150 mile an hour super typhoon being predicted as the lowest solution. Now, in terms of the bottom 25%, that is going to be a Category 5, 155 knots Category 5. So that's 180 mile an hour Category 5 super typhoon being predicted as the low 25%, as in the 25th percent. Then upping it to the 50%, what is the average generally showing? Again, it's around 185 mile an hour Category 5 super typhoon. And then the high-end top 75% is going to be 165 knot. Let me see how strong that is briefly. That would be around 190 mile an hour in terms of the top 70 or the 75th percent. Let's see, sorry, what did I just say there? My faults. 190 mile an hour Category 5 super typhoon. And the maximum Ensemble member, the highest end, is going to be a 215 mile an hour, the strongest tropical cyclone in recorded history, being forecasted as the high end. Now, in terms of percentages, what's the percentages of what category? All 50 of them, so 100% of them, have it becoming at least a typhoon. 100% of them have it at least becoming a Category 2. 100% have it at least becoming a Category 3 major typhoon. And 100% of them have it at least becoming a Category 4 major typhoon. 96% of them have it becoming a Category 5 super typhoon. So 96% chance that this becomes a Category 5, 100% chance that it becomes a super typhoon, according to the Google AI Ensemble members. All 100 of, or all 50 of them have it becoming a super typhoon. Now let's talk pressure. What could the pressure be on the system? Pull it up here. So, in terms of the lowest pressure here, let's see the weakest system. So, or first off, all 100 or all 100% of them have it at least peaking out as a pressure of 980 millibars, 100% 960 millibars, 100% 940 millibars. The highest pressure that the system is forecasted to get is 925 millibars. That's still around Category 5 super typhoon, unfortunately. So, and I believe we could potentially see that on here, maybe on one of these runs, maybe not. It's really hard to see there. One of the, no, it'd be even higher up than that. Yeah, it's pretty hard to determine which member that was on here, but yeah, 925 millibars is going to be the highest pressure. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. In terms of the 25th percent there, it's 904 millibars. So when we get to 900 millibars, 54% of the Ensemble members have it peaking out at sub 900 millibars. So over half of them predicted to be in the 800s. In terms of below 890 millibars, 22% of them have it peaking out as a pressure below 890 millibars. The average is 899.2 millibars is what is expected out of the system to peak out as. And at 25th or 75th percent, 891 millibars. So there's a 25% chance it peaks out as a pressure below 891 millibars. Now, in terms of if it peaks below 880 millibars, 2 of those Ensemble members have it peaking out below that, so 4% chance it peaks out at below 880 millibars. And the lowest pressure is 872.8 millibars. That's just 2.8 millibars away from Typhoon Tip's record in 1979. Now, let's discuss the impacts or the probabilities of what province it could be making landfall in the Philippines. So in terms of Aurora here, or let's discuss to the south here. One of these Ensemble members do have it striking Quezon there, so there's around a 2% chance that it makes landfall in Quezon right there. And looking at Aurora, there's let's see, this is Aurora. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, so 17, 34% chance it makes landfall in Aurora there. And then looking at the rest here, look at Isabela. That would be around a 1, 2, or let's start off by looking at Cagayan, and then we can figure out what's expected there. So Cagayan's only includes, what area does Cagayan cut off at? It looks like it's going to be cutting off right around here-ish. I can't really see it though. So really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 16% chance it makes landfall there. That would be then added up to around 50, then 52, so that would be a 48% chance that it makes landfall in Isabela. That's the highest chance right now on where it's looking like it could go, and that's where the consensus has it making landfall. Yes, this should work. Yes. Okay. So that's the probabilities of a landfall in the Philippines. 100% of these Ensemble members have it making landfall somewhere in the Philippines. Now let's look at the Super Ensemble cluster and what it is showing. So it is making a hook to the southeast. Yep, that was expected. And looking at all of these here, yep, this will be it. And the trend there has it impacting mainly in northern Luzon there. Cagayan is the main region there. But if we look at the percentages here, man, a lot of these areas could be seeing impacts from the system. It could really go anywhere as far south as eastern Visayas and far north as Alta Sea. And I'm hoping the Alta Sea solution verifies. But chances are increasing and increasing now for portions of Isabela, for example. Really, the northern Luzon, Cagayan Valley, central Luzon, all those regions in Luzon could be seeing a direct impact from a super typhoon. Again, though, the consensus then does have it curving generally towards Taiwan. So Taiwan could be seeing impacts as well beyond the 5-day range. Okay, now let's answer some questions. I'll get to all of them. Yes, a nice core on Kalmaegi. If it keeps the current structure and the core doesn't contract much, the eye could be quite big. Yes, the storm could become a major typhoon. Category 3 or 4 is going to be possible on this system, fortunately, before it slams into Vietnam. Philippines and Vietnam have been getting hit repeatedly this year. Yes, 4.75 thousand subscribers. Yeah, thank you all so much. We are now 4 subscribers away from 4.76 thousand subscribers. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out a lot, and it keeps you updated. You're in the moderate category for 32W. Yes, that makes sense. And these areas could be expanded north and south. So as we get more confidence, I will continue to keep you all updated. If you're curious about what region you will be in terms of category impacts, you can follow me on one of these other social media platforms. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so that way the algorithm can recommend you get that. And follow me on Twitter or X at hurricane_chase. And if you use Facebook or Blue Sky more, you can follow me at their cyclone tracking. And consider following me on Instagram at Hurricane Chaser Chase. And you can join the Discord server if you like tracking tropical cyclones at discord.gg/chasesstorm. Let's answer some more questions here. Yeah, Half's A model run was crazy, with 870 millibars tying the record for Typhoon Tip. Alright, let's see, looking at more of these things. This is totally a Usagi. Well, the difference between Usagi and this storm is Usagi collapsed before landfall, believed due to an eyewall replacement cycle, was something like that. This storm is expected to peak out a little bit before Usagi did, but similar track, yes. As Typhoon Lover, you realize you're inside the cone. Yeah, the cone here, there's a 2/3 chance that it stays inside of this cone here. So really, it could deviate to the north, could deviate to the south, but really a 2/3 chance that the storm will track inside of this cone. But remember, even if you're not in the cone, you could still be seeing impacts from the system. Is there a possibility that 32W enters the Philippine area of responsibility, and there's a chance that it'll become a Category 5 before entering it? Well, yes, in this forecast here, it does have it becoming a Category 5 after entering the Philippine area of responsibility. It could peak out as a super typhoon right before. Let's pull up the latest Half's A model run and what it is showing. Where does it peak out at? Let's see, 135 east, right over here. This does have it being a Category 5. Looks like right at the Philippine area of responsibility. Yeah, there it is. This has it as a major typhoon. Wait, is this the most recent run? Okay, this one, the previous one before that there, this one right here, did have it peaking out as a potentially Category 5 super typhoon before it enters but not peaking, but becoming a super typhoon before it enters the Philippine area of responsibility. So that is definitely a possibility on this with the system. Now, something else we're going to need to be keeping an eye out on is going to be eyewall replacement cycles with the system. We can see on these model runs here clearly depicting a solid double eyewall feature here, with this one having Category 4 major typhoon winds and this one having Category 5 super typhoon force winds. So there may be 2 eyes you'll have to be going through, maybe 3 sections of calmness. This would be insane to experience. Yes, Robo James, yes, the storm will be very large in size. Zooming out again, looking at its, on here. Yeah, look at that typhoon force wind field, incredibly large. This reminds me a lot of main cuts. Yeah, man, look at that. They're slamming in the Philippines there with typhoon force winds extending well outside of the center there. In terms of how far away in each direction, we can figure that out. Looks like around 180 kilometers away from the center is how far out typhoon force winds are expected to extend. In terms of gale force winds, we can check on here. Gale force winds up to 570 kilometers away from the center. So again, discussing distance for typhoon force winds up to around 100 to 200 kilometers away from the center. So really this map right here is probably, I'd say it's a probability of you seeing typhoon force winds from the system, maybe even stronger than that. The probability of seeing typhoon force winds though. So if you're in this blue highlighted area, you're around a 5% chance or higher of seeing typhoon force winds from the system is what I would say. So that does include portions of the Philippines, Taiwan, the Ryukyu and Sakishima Islands with the system. And if you're in the green area here, the area that I'm going to be highlighting right now, you're around a 2/3 or a thirds chance. It's around a 33% chance of you seeing typhoon force winds on the system. And you can see it does include a large area, unfortunately. And then increasing it even further now to around the 50% chance, or let's do a 2/3 chance of typhoon force winds. Again, that does include a corridor through the central or through northern Luzon, portions of the Ilocos region and Cagayan Valley in that category there, and that's 2/3 chance or more of seeing typhoon force winds. So that's why those areas are highlighted for moderate to major impacts. Oops. Dude, it's just Kalmaegi and 32W active worldwide. Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on, fortunately. I mean, not a lot in terms of quantity, but quality is quite high with these two systems. A lot of powerful tropical cyclones, looks like. But it said it could weaken to a Category 4 or 3. I think, yeah, it could weaken. Let's hope it weakens before making landfall. Shear is expected to increase a little bit before it makes landfall, so we're hoping this weakens the storm. Again, I'll keep posting more and more updates on this system as to what it's looking like the landfall intensity will be and what will the impacts be with the system. Extreme threat possible? Yeah, we may be adding a possibility of catastrophic impacts if it's looking like a super typhoon landfall is becoming increasingly likely. Signal 4 warnings are still active for portions of Palawan. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, that system is starting to leave Palawan. It's located right around here by now. But yeah, it is leaving Palawan. Conditions are going to be improving now. You've gone through the worst. If you're in really anywhere from the Philippines for Kalmaegi or Tino, but this next system is going to be worse for portions of northern Philippines. Yep, Fung Wong is the next name. International name. Yes, again, this may not just be a bare minimum super typhoon. This could be very similar to Goni or Haiyan in terms of its peak intensity. Let's hope it doesn't do that, though. What could the maximum wind speeds be? Is 200 miles an hour plus possible? Yes, 215 miles an hour is currently the highest and a Google AI Ensemble member right now for in terms of winds. So this could break records. Do you think Josh Morganman will also chase this? Let's see. He hasn't really chased a lot of the storms that hit the Philippines last year, and he's kind of already still in Jamaica. So I'm not sure if he's gonna. He might need a break, I'd say. I'm not sure if he's going to go after this or not. I would go after this. Alright, let's see. Is sub 880 millibars possible? Yes, sub 880 millibars is possible, but it's only around a 4% chance on the Google AI Ensemble members. Let's see what else here. How did Google perform for earlier typhoons? I think sometimes it overdoes it. Regasa, though, it did a phenomenal job. It kind of even underestimated it. This is the highest signal we've ever seen in the Google AI Ensemble members. So nothing's ever been like this before. So we're in unprecedented territory for looking at the computer model. I mean, the HAFS A model run was showing 970 millibars, so that's pretty crazy. Yes, okay. Let's see, I hope this is, okay, Robo James says, I hope this becomes a Hagibit 2014, where it was expected to be eerily similar to Haiyan, then it just collapsed before landfall. And you look up Hagibits 2014. Okay, just trying to pull up the Wikipedia on it. Hopefully it weakens before landfall. It should weaken, but again, we said that with Melissa, and well, we all know what happened there, so let's just hope this weakens. Zenith asks, do you think I will go more south since those ridge of high pressure and subtropical or subridges, prevents it from going more north and making landfall in Palilo Island, same as Vamco did. Let's see. Let me pull up my map again. In terms of if it's going to go more south, more north, again, it's uncertain. We'll see more models trend in certain directions. It's been fairly consistent though this past day, I'd say. Um, I'm not sure if there's going to be any major changes. The major change that I think will happen with this storm is going to be how it consolidates over the next 24 hours or so, because it's kind of a broad mess right now. It's trying to get from this broad circulation to now just one tight circulation right in here, and this is going to really kind of impact where the center is going to be moving throughout the next 24 hours. So right now it's kind of getting pulled towards... What the heck happened here? Okay, getting pulled towards these... Did this update or something? I don't know. Anyways, getting pulled more and more to the towards the broad overview center, like a Fujiwara kind of effect, if you will. Oh yeah, in terms of trends, if we look at the Google AI Ensemble member trends on it, you can see it's been consistently forecasting such a powerful typhoon. In terms of track, though, track hasn't really adjusted too much. It's adjusted a little bit more to the south in the more recent runs. But it's not like the most south run. It's not the most north run. That kind of indicates that it's more locked in as to where it's going to be going. In terms of the initial forecast, though, it is a little bit more to the southwest of where it's expected to go. But then it curves a little bit more to the north. So again, Taiwan as well in that. So really nothing too big in terms of changes. I'm barely in the blue area. Let's see what you mean by that. Oh yeah, in terms of this right here, or this, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you're in the cone of uncertainty, you still need to be taking this seriously, as it could be rolling through your areas as a super typhoon. I'm in the major impacts, I'm in the slight impacts, yeah. Remember, if you are in these kind of colors for slight impacts, major impacts, all that kind of stuff, I'll just keep saying or staying updated, okay? You're in the yellow category right now in terms of when you should be what you should be doing. Check forecast daily. Again, if you're subscribed to the channel, you've already completed that, okay? You're already tuning back for daily updates that I put out, so you're already staying up to date. You're ahead of most on that. Restock essentials, get food, water, paper towels, batteries, medications. Make sure that can last over a week. And review evacuation zones and routes. Be sure to know where you're going to go if you're in a high-risk structure. Try to find out what's the sturdiest structure you could go to if you want to ride out the storm with family or friends. Just try to figure out and make sure you contact family and friends. Talk to them about where they're planning on going. And remember, inform other people about the storm. Make sure that they know that the super typhoon may be coming their way. And also remove loose debris, like remove that debris from your yards, things like that. Any branches, just any debris that could go flying anywhere. Just remove that. Any trash, things like that. What do you think it could be? What do you mean Red Dead Online? In terms of what do you think it could be? I think it could be a super typhoon. Chase, if you had the opportunity, would you chase the storm? No pun intended. I would chase the storm, definitely. If I had the opportunity, I would. Man, you know what? I need to start planning on chasing, actually, internationally. I would like to go through I don't know, maybe another category force. I'd like to do a more independent chases in the United States, and then I'll probably start planning chases in other countries. Kalmaegi's almost westward. Yeah, Kalmaegi is expected to move westward, but it's moving a little bit more west-northwestward is where it's expected to go. It is going to be slamming into Vietnam, though, as a major typhoon. Like intensity-wise, I do expect a Category 5 out of this. Currently forecasting 145 knots, that's around 165 miles an hour. Super typhoon out of this, 1 minute sustained winds. That's my current prediction, and that's probably going to go up or down over the coming days. Possible after 90W, no more low pressure areas or disturbances, so will it be a break after that? Unfortunately, no. The Climate Prediction Center update has just come out today. And looking at the Philippines here during week 2, so November 12th through the 18th, there's a 20% chance. November 19th through the 25th, there's also another 20% chance. So it's not over for you all in the Philippines, unfortunately. Fung Wong could enter the Philippine Area of Responsibility on Friday. Okay. Yep. Let's see what else here. Other questions. In terms of when is Colin 20, I haven't even started that. I'm not going to start that at all. I'm not going to animate it until next year. So there's no sneak peeks or anything like that. I'm focusing on animating this year's Northern Hemisphere cyclone seasons, tropical cyclone seasons. So will this be like Regasa, Kajiki, or Poodle? Or Podol? I think it's going to be most similar to Regasa in terms of just how powerful it will be, that kind of stuff. Really, that's the most similar thing. And in terms of Google AI Ensemble members, this storm is even more bullish than Regasa was. Regasa, the Ensemble mean was roughly a super typhoon, though, still, but around 130 knots, so 150 mile an hour category. Category 4. This is 160 mile an hour category 5 being forecasted by the Google AI Ensemble mean. So this is much more bullish than Regasa was. So this is the most bullish one we've ever seen. Is Typhoon is Typhoon Uwan gonna impact the Bicol region? Well, looking at here, the Bicol region is expected to see slight to moderate impacts, and this could shift up to the possibility of catastrophic impacts if this shifts more to the south, but this is mainly accounting for uncertainty. We're not quite sure where it's going to go exactly, but yeah, Bicol region could be getting hit by a super typhoon if this goes more on the southern end of the forecast. And it could hit as a similar intensity to Haiyan. Is 90W, or remember, it's no longer 90W. Oh, everyone, I just want to say that. It's no longer 90W, it's now 32W. Let's see. In terms of central Luzon, it is expected to impact central Luzon. Areas there are expected to see anywhere from slight to major impacts, especially in portions of Aurora province there. They're expected to see major impacts from this storm. All right, now for you all in the in the Philippines, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing as we're getting closer and closer. We are 2 away from 4.76 thousand subscribers. Let's see if we can reach that by the end of the stream. I will continue to keep you all updated, and remember, you saying subscribe, it keeps you ahead of most people in this forecast, in this checklist here for typhoons or hurricanes, really anything. You all in the Philippines are in this phase right now. So again, check forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, you can check mark that off. Again, if you want to take a screenshot of this, this helps you all stay better prepared for this. We're now 1 subscriber away from that threshold, from that milestone. So again, if you're already subscribed to this channel, you can check off that box. Okay. If you haven't already, please consider restocking essentials. Please do that. Get food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications, around a week's supply of that. And review evacuation zones. Try to prepare where you're going to go. If you're in the northern Philippines, just be prepared as to what area. Well, what's the most sturdy structure you could go to, as the system could be rolling to your area as a super typhoon. Some of these models want it being worse than Haiyan. So really, just take this seriously. Prepare to figure out where you're going to go. Oh, and remember, if you haven't already, please consider liking the stream. Did you check on the new update from the Google AI members? Let's see. I'm going to pull it up on my computer if they're out just yet or not. Oh no, why is my computer lagging so much? Oh no, it's my laptop here. Eek, okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to get it to work. Okay. Now, I will be looking at the Google AI Ensemble members. Let's see if it's out just yet. Let's start off by looking at, if it is out, we'll be looking at the peak winds. Let me just plug in the 18Z run, and let's see if this code actually works or not. Is it out yet or not? It's been 7 hours, or 8 hours or so since the last. All right, come on. Oh, I know why. Oh, whoops. Okay, that's why it wasn't. Okay. Is it out or is it not? Let's see. I'm pulling it up on my laptop. Okay, it is out. It is out. All right. Let's discuss this now in terms of probabilities. Okay, good. It's a little bit better news now in terms of how many have it becoming a category 4 or 5. Okay, so let's discuss the earlier Google AI Ensemble members and what they were showing. So in terms of the earlier Ensemble members, I'll discuss the 12Z run right over here. Okay, let me use this color right here. So 12Z run, what I was forecasting. Minimum intensity was going to be 131 knots, okay? 131 knots, that's around 150 miles an hour, pretty much. 150 miles an hour. In terms of the low end 25%, that is going to be around, like the bottom 25% still had it peaking out with winds of 175 miles an hour. In terms of the mean there, the average peak for the system was going to be 180 miles an hour. In terms of the top there, that is going to be around 190 miles an hour, or I believe so, yeah, 100, was it 180 or 100? Let me just double check. I think, okay, it's 190 miles an hour there, is the high end 25%, and then the max there was expected to be, let's see, that would be 215 miles an hour was the maximum expected. Now let's discuss the 18Z run, what it is showing. So in terms of the minimum intensity, it has been knocked down to 145 miles an hour. So we go down to 145. That's good news. At least it's gone down a little bit. In terms of the bottom 25%, that is at 100 and, let's see. Okay, that still unfortunately equals 175 there. It's still unchanged. And in terms of the average is still 180. Unfortunately, still predicting 180 mile an hour category 5 super typhoon. The top 75% is going to be 180, let's see, 190 miles an hour. So again, that's still the same. And in terms of maximum intensity, it is expected to be 170 knots. Let me just convert that real quick. Okay, that's a little bit less now. In terms of what's the max expected to be, the max has gone down to 195 miles an hour. So that's just, that's I guess a little bit of good news. So again, this is really the changes. Hasn't gone down by much, okay. Now, in terms of probabilities of a category 5 super typhoon out of this, it's gone from, let's see, in the previous run it was around, oops, scrolling up. It was around 96%, and that's gone down to 96%. And it's gone down to 90% chance of a category 5. So that's gone down a little bit, but those numbers are not good. That's still not good. 90% chance of a category 5. Pretty much every Ensemble member except for one has it becoming a super typhoon now. So, oh man, that is not good. Now let's discuss the peak pressure. Alright, let me just do that. Whoops. Let's discuss the peak pressure and what it was forecasted to be. Oh, wait, I need to change this here. Okay, so let's talk about the previous model run, the 12Z model run, and what it was forecasting the pressure to be. So let me just make sure I type this correctly. Yes, WP 32-2025. Okay. Okay, things are better. Things are better now, I think. Let's see, yeah, so let's discuss the previous one in terms of what they were showing the system to peak. What the heck is, okay. Just scroll up some more. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. In terms of the maximum pressure, the highest pressure, that was expected to be around 925 millibars. So that is not, I mean that's around a Category 5 pressure. In terms of the bottom, this would be bottom 25%. This would be, or the high end 25%, this would be 904 millibars. And then going to around 50%. 50 or the average there, I mean. Let me just put in average instead. Average of them, instead of it being 904 millibars, okay, the average was 899 millibars. 899.2 millibars is what the average was. In terms of the highest or the lowest 25%, that was 891 millibars. And in terms of the minimum pressure there, the lowest pressure being forecasted, it was 872 millibars. 872.8 millibars was the lowest end. And in terms of, let me see if I can still include this, or if you all, yeah, you all will be able to see it. In terms of how many of them being under 900 millibars, so let's do like this. 900 millibars. In terms of the last, the 12Z model run, that was around 54% of them had it peaking out at a pressure below 900 millibars. Now let's compare this with this new model run here. Okay, so the max pressure has gone up now to 929 millibars. So that's a little bit of a downtrend there. In terms of the 25%, that's gone up to 908 millibars. In terms of the average has gone up now to 901.8 or 901.8 millibars. Yes. So this has risen. In terms of the top 25%, that's gone now to 894 millibars. And in terms of the lowest pressure, that's gone up now to 886 millibars, 886.3 millibars. And in terms of how many of them peak out at a pressure of below 900 millibars, that has decreased now down to 42%. So this is a little bit of a downtrend, okay? And we're going to like this, okay? Let's hope this trend continues, okay? Let's hope it continues to downtrend, though, but mainly the average now has gone from 892 millibars to 901 millibars. That's still a Category 5, but let's hope this trend continues, okay? Still, though, the average is around a powerful super typhoon. So regardless, though, looks like major impacts are going to be expected. Ooh, let's see, 4.76 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much. We're now 240 away from 5,000 subscribers. Wow, and we're getting closer and closer. Thank you all so much for the support. Let's see what else. Hurricane Melissa animation when? I'm going to be doing that on Sunday. Chase, I like your writing. Thank you. Okay, now let's see. That's pretty much... Will there be another storm in the Caribbean? That's a little bit uncertain. I don't think there's going to be anything, though, in the next 7 days. Okay, now I have a question for you all on how to pronounce something. Okay, I'm gonna ask you all a question here. So earlier I did Leyte. Now let's talk about Mimaropa. Mimaropa, or Mimaropa. This area right over here. I believe that this section is Mimaropa, like this section right here. Am I saying it right? Mimaropa. Just say yes or no if I'm saying that right. Is it Mimaropa? Can you just give me a yes or no if I'm saying Mimaropa right, and then I'll go through it. Mimaropa, Mimaropa. Yes, okay. Mimaropa, yes. All right, thank you guys. Okay, so I was getting bad. Okay, again, my Spanish friend has been making fun of me for my pronunciations, but it is Mimaropa. Okay, I got it. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, so Mimaropa, Ropa, like that. Mimaropa. Not pa, but pa, pa. Mimaropa. Man, okay. So maybe, okay, Mimaropa. Mimaropa. Okay, I think that's right. Oh, there's regions in the Philippines? Region 4B? Okay, now a question here that I'm really going to need to be learning the pronunciation of this region over in this portion. It's called. Do you all call this the Cordillera Administrative Region? Is that what you call it, or do you call it something else? Ilocos region makes sense. Cagayan Valley makes sense, but the administrative region, I don't know if you call it that. Rose and Ra, Mima Rapa, Mima Rapa, Mima Rapa, Mima Rapa. Mima Ropa, Ra, Mima Rapa, Mima Rapa. Row as in rowing a boat, or raw as in raw meat, I guess. I guess that's what I'll ask you all. Oh no, guys, just do RAW or ROW. Yes, guys, I am learning. I am learning over time. Okay, I know more than most people and who aren't from the Philippines. Not as soft as row. Okay, raw. Mimarapa. Okay, I think I might have nailed that. What is your peak for Melissa in your opinion? That will be releasing soon on Sunday. Thank you, Typhoon Lover. And if you want to learn the peak, you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasestorm, and there's a channel for Melissa's reanalysis. Thank you so much, Anadra, or oh, sorry, Inanda. Yes, you can join Zenith. You can join at discord.gg/chasestorm. Now, again, I did want to ask about another location, though, again. It's going to be here. I'll pull it up on a map here. Philippine regions of the Philippines. Now, there's going to be some areas that I'd like to learn the pronunciations of. Now, this region right over here, this green region, Cordillera, is that how you pronounce it? Cordillera Administrative Region? Cordillera? Teacher versus 34 students. Cordillera, I believe, Cordillera Administrative Region. Am I pronouncing that right? Cordil? Oh yeah, yeah. Cordillera. Cordillera. See, so Ilocos region, Cordillera administrative region. Hi, Mammerds. I'm learning my pronunciations on certain things. Apayo, I think. Apayo. I know that's Cagayan. Isabella. Kalinga. Abra. Apayo. Let me pull up Google Translate for that. Let's see here in terms of Filipino.
Apayao.
Apayo. Yeah, Apayo. Cordillera. Okay, Cordillera. Thank you, Cordillera. Now, a mountain province, a Fuego. I think Benguets, Nueva Vizcaya, Carino. I think, and Aurora. Those are mainly the main areas that I'm going to be trying to learn. Calabarzon. Pangasinan, I know. La Union. Ifuga? I thought it's Fuego. Oh no. Let me see. Well, let me copy. Okay, it won't let me copy and paste it, but let's see. Oh man. Okay, sorry. I'll pull it up here.
Ifugao.
Ifugao? What? Oh man. I've been pronouncing that wrong this whole time. Ifugao. Okay, Ifugao. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. Let me just. Oh no, I've got to send my gotta send my friend this stream. Sorry, I've got to send it to him. Let's see here. Okay, Ifugao. Okay. Wow, man, Ifugao. Ifugao. Calabarzon. 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 I'm gonna make sure I'm doing that right. Calabarzon. Calabarzon. Oops, come on, please work. Okay, let me pull it up on here. So, okay, I'm gonna search it up on Google Translate, try and get correct pronunciation of it. Oh, come on, right there, Calabarzon, Calabarzon.
Calabarzon.
Calabarzon. Okay, Calabarzon. Okay, that's easier to pronounce. Yeah, 50 teachers versus 1 geography students. Man, Calabarzon. Okay, does not contain the hard R. Okay, Let me try that again.
Calabarzon.
Calabarzon. Calabarzon. Okay, and then of course Central Luzon, Zambales. Uh, let's see. I mainly call this region Central Luzon, Aurora, Carino, Nueva Vizcaya. Now I'm gonna try and learn this one, Nueva Vizcaya. Let's see. So Nueva, I think I got that right. Nueva, and then Vizcaya. Oh man. Okay, I'm not gonna. I probably butchered that.
Nueva Vizcaya.
Nueva Vizcaya. What? Okay, I get it. All right, Nueva Vizcaya.
Nueva Vizcaya.
Nueva Vizcaya. Nueva Vizcaya. Vizcaya. Okay, thank you. Vizcaya. Vizcaya. Yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. And let me pull up this area. Okay. Nueva Vizcaya. All right. Mountain province, Kalinga. Kalinga. Please tell me I'm doing that right. Kalinga. Kalinga.
Kalinga.
Kalinga. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Abra. Abra.
Abra.
Yep. Okay. And then Ilocos Sur. Ilocos. Now, please. I swear it's Ilocos Sur. Let me try this again. Ilocos.
Ilocos Sur.
Ilocos Sur. Yes. Okay. Yeah, man. Who flocks I see there with your chat message. Okay. So I am learning. All right. So going through it again, Cordillera, Cordillera. Right, Cagayan, Apayao, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Abra, Kalinga, uh, Isabela, Mountain Province, Ifugao, Benguet, La Union, Nueva Vizcaya. Hold on. Nueva Vizcaya. Yep. Carino, Aurora, Pangasinan, Zambales, Tarlac. Okay, I haven't done these yet. But then Ilocos region, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, Calabarzon. Okay, yeah, those are the main regions I'm going to be really needing to learn. So yeah, I think I've mastered, not mastered, but at least I know somewhat. All right, please let me draw on here. Really, does it not going to allow me to draw? Oh man, okay. But anyways, I probably know more about this region right here if I were to kind of draw an outline as to what areas I know how to pronounce. Just I need to learn this for the system. Man, I'm learning. I'm learning over time. So yeah, thank you all so much for the support. Let's see, what would you all grade me out of 100% so far for my pronunciations? This is gonna take 17 years to make Chase learn this. Man, no. I'm learning though. 95% of 100. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. 87%. All right. Will we ever see a category 5 as low as latitude as BOFA? Probably. I mean, sometime in our lifetimes. Um, 100%? Wow, okay. Thank you all so much for the high grade. You know, eventually I'm gonna be in these provinces. I'll probably travel and chase a typhoon there. Yeah, so if that's not worth a subscribe, I don't know what is. um, just learning the pronunciations of different cultures and things like that. I would get a 47%. That's fair. That's completely fair. Oh yeah, Robo James. Man, I'm not worrying about Mindanao regions just yet. Okay, I know it's Caraga and northern Mindanao, but I'm focused on these regions right now. So many areas in the Luzon island of Luzon have been hit, so I've been learning more and more. I remembered I used to say Baikal instead of Bicol. Luzon, I've always mastered that, fortunately. That's easy to pronounce. But man, some of these names, butchering. Oh, but yeah, I'm learning. Lesson for today, Luzon. Yeah, Luzon. I'm learning about Luzon provinces. You have some issue with the R, but you're an English speaker, so that's fair. Yeah, thank you. Yes. So, Alexandria, do you all speak Filipino? Or, sorry, I forget what it's called, but on Google Translate, it's Filipino. But lesson next week, Visayas. Well, we technically already did Visayas. Some of the Visayas. I know Leyte, I know Samar, Cebu, all of these regions. I'll learn again when another typhoon heads towards there. Oh yeah, 17 subscribers away from when? Okay, I speak Portuguese. Okay, yeah. So thank you, thank you for the help. Kalmaegi showing the eye. You're saying it's showing an eye now for Kalmaegi? Yep. Look at that eye starting to pop out. Fortunately, it's moving away from portions of Mimaropa. 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 Half English, half Tagalog. Did Kalmagi land in Vietnam? Not yet, but it is expected to. The system is expected to make landfall as a Category 2 or 3 typhoon, so possibly major impacts are expected for the coast of Vietnam. Here, depending on where you are in Vietnam, you could be seeing really no impacts, portions of northern Vietnam, or you could be seeing potentially major impacts. The categories are listed right on here. Oh, I am going to be needing to make a scale graphic to determine like kind of what kind of impacts could you be seeing. What do we learn now? Well, you know what's okay, I'm curious. Can I pull up regions of Vietnam? Ooh, okay, there's not as many regions. Okay. Whoa, and they're a lot easier to say, looks like. Okay. You know what? I can do this a lot. I thought they were going to be a lot more complicated. So it's going to be hitting the south central coast and central highlands of Vietnam. Okay, that is so much easier to say. All right, that works. So it is in eastern Vietnam. It's the south central coast of Vietnam, then moving through central highlands. Red River Delta, yeah, I've heard that term used. Who said Kalmaegi may reach super typhoon status? That is a possibility. I'm not going to rule that out. Let me pull up the code and seeing the probabilities of that actually happening. Here, let me run the code on my laptop, and we will see. Well, what are the probabilities it becomes a super typhoon? Kalmaegi is what we're talking about. So, oh dang. Oh man. Okay, so that's a little bit scary. In terms of the average now is super typhoon. Okay, it's expected to reach winds of 155 miles an hour as the average. So probabilities of a category 5 are 40% now on the Google AI Ensemble members. So that's a little bit scary, for Vietnam. Let's hope, I mean, it should weaken before making landfall. Let's hope it does. But again, though, probabilities of it becoming a major typhoon are increasing. Rapid intensification is looking more and more likely. I mean, it already has a core together. So, yeah, I mean, this will probably be upped. Not just the possibility of major impacts anymore. You said you're worried about my country, Vietnam. Where are you in Vietnam? Let's see, 35 more. Oh, well, we're 35 more away from 4.8 thousand subscribers. What did we start the stream with? I think we started the stream with 10 less. Yep. So that means we are now 235 away from that. And how many days until January 1st? 58 days, so 235 divided by 58. We'd only need around 4 subscribers a day. Yeah, so we're going to be reaching 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year. See, it is attacking South Central Vietnam and is cooking me. Yeah, South Central Vietnam. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Roblox. Robo James says I follow a lot of somewhat trusted Facebook pages. One of which is called Weather Philippines, calls for a southern central Luzon landfall. Yes, again, it's uncertain this far out. So really, anywhere from eastern Visayas to the Batanes Islands could see a landfall with the system, with the most likely scenario happening around Aurora and Isabela. Landfall in Taiwan, yes, it could be making landfall in Taiwan after the 5-day period. Again, I will be releasing more updates on forecast cones. So if you have Instagram, consider following me there. And if you have Facebook, you can follow me on cyclone tracking. On X, you can follow me at @hurricane_chase. You can take a screenshot of this to follow me on other platforms, other social media platforms. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube if you aren't already. Well, we're now down to 34 away from 4.8 thousand. All right. But yeah, honestly, in a decade or so, I should become a master at the Philippine geography, pronunciations, things like that, especially Luzon and Eastern or Visayas. Not really Mindanao. I'm not sure about that. All these areas are going to be difficult to pronounce, but I mean, over the next decade or so, I should really master everywhere else here. Um, Oh yeah, but yeah, if you have Instagram and you live in the Philippines, you can follow me there and you can reach out to me, especially if you're in portions of the northern Philippines, and maybe you can kind of teach me more if I ever travel to the Philippines, which I do plan to chase a typhoon there. Will be the main factor we should be watching to like anticipate if this will recurve or move due west. because it's kind of traumatizing what happened in Cebu, which may happen in more populated areas. Um, well, in terms of like what to be watching, I'd say it would be the ridge to the north there, and this little trough towards the north there that's kind of tugged it a little bit to the north. But really though, it's kind of that ridge there has uptrended to the east there, so that's kind of really what's pushing it there. What else? I don't know. This last day or so, I guess the only difference really though is that Kalmaegi has trended weaker when it's over western Thailand and eastern and southeastern Myanmar. Elizabeth says, I predict you will reach 5,000 subscribers by Thanksgiving week. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot of that just to see if I will be, if I will reach that or not. Let's see, so, Thanksgiving week. How many days until Thanksgiving week? That would be around 23 days. Actually, I could reach that. That only required 10 subscribers a day, so you may honestly be right on that. I still cannot believe how much support I've gotten over the past month, or 1 to 2 months. Thank you all so much for all the support. I'm cooking on my next animations. Okay, I'm getting those all ready to go. I am finishing the analysis on Melissa. I should get that done by tomorrow, and then I will be animating it. I should be animating it on Thursday. Then we'll have it all out ready to go on Sunday. Sunday at 12 Eastern Standard Time. All right, so that looks like it's generally all the questions. So in terms of when the next live stream will be, the next live stream will likely be tomorrow. Um, as it's we're both going to be discussing again Kalmaegi or Tino and on 32W Fung Wong or Uan. I'll learn the pronunciation of it in a bit. Okay, it hasn't been named just yet, so I haven't needed to search that up. Um, but yeah, it's mainly going to be probably code pink for the system, so requiring another live stream. Just due to the fact that it's impacting over 5 million people and a major typhoon potentially at that point, and then also this storm getting a lot of traction as well. I will be releasing forecast cones on both of these systems tomorrow. This one will probably release at around 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Or sorry, no, not 2 p.m. 2 a.m. for you all in the Philippines. And then this one will probably release at around 8 a.m. for you all in the Philippines. So be sure to follow me on one of these other social media platforms so you can stay up to date on that. Thanks, Chase. Hopefully good news tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, I heard about the Cebu floodings. Ooh, Typhoon Lover, good bet. How many views do you all think the Melissa animation will get? And what do you all think will be the most popular animation of the year in terms of single storm animations? Regassa currently holds number one with like 11,000 views. Um, here I can pull up on my phone real quick or on YouTube here, just seeing. Let me pull up my channel here. What animation do you think, or what storm do you think is going to be the most popular throughout the year? In terms of the rankings right now, number one's Regassa with 11,000 views. Number two is all the way down to Aaron at 5.7 thousand views. And at number three is Halong with 5.1 thousand views. Number four is Neoguri with 4.9 thousand views. And number five is going to be, what storm? Umberto with 3.6 thousand views. I think that's right. Yeah, those are the top five, making sure I didn't miss anything. Now, those are the top five animations so far this year. So this Melissa may beat it. This storm may beat it. Or Kalinga, or sorry, Kalmegi, or Kalmagi, and maybe 32W beats it. So which animation do you think is going to be the most popular? Melissa? Okay. Regassa or Melissa, yeah. Thank you, Typhoon Lover, for the kind words. Yes, Melissa. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Again, there will likely be an update tomorrow. If not, you can always follow me on the social media platforms here, and then you can stay up to date there. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next update. Stay safe.